Hey guys, um, I want to talk about knowledge advantage and looking to increase your expertise and outmaneuvering your competitors by looking and studying things that's outside your field of domain and at the same time bringing it back into your field of domain. So, about 17, 18 years ago, I was at a used bookstore and I found this book called The Inner Game of Tennis by Tim Gallwey. Now, I have this book here that's written by him. This is a follow up book, and it's called The Inner Game of Golf by Tim Gallwey. And about 17 years ago, I would read the book and made notes on it. And this whole entire book is a follow up book, but it's very similar to the first book. And there is absolutely no pictures at all, right? No photographs. And basically, if you like mental games, sports psychology and stuff like that, this book it's along that line. Um, he has a very intuitive way of teaching how your mind and body should feel and how it should feel in sync, and the way to adapt that mind body connection so that you can perform at the highest level in your sport. Now, this book, and I think there's about five other books that influence the way I coach, but this author and this book, the Inner Game of Golf and the Inner Game of Tennis, has really influenced the way I coach my athletes. A lot of beginners coach would focus on techniques, or a certain skill set. Now that's fine, but when you do sport at the highest level, acquiring the skill set is not good enough. You also have to access the skill set, the skill on the day of the performance. And it's much more stressful in combat sport, especially the more violent or more elite the combat sport is, because you're dealing with a lot of psychological imperative. You worry about getting your teeth knocked out, getting maimed, getting hurt. There's a lot of things going through your head, especially when you're new at it. And so, I want to shoot a follow up video where I'm gonna analyze the feedback loop and how you can hack the feedback loop so that you are able to perform to your optimum level. And there's a process to that. But anyways, I want to stick with today's theme, which is going to outside of your domain and bringing information back into your domain so that you can outcompete and outmaneuver your competitors. So this book, like I said, it's written for golf, but I'm a martial art instructor. Now the biggest problem with a lot of people is that they tend to read books in their field. Like, let's just say you're a martial art instructor, you read every single MMA book. Let's just say you teach mixed martial art. You'll read like books on mixed martial art, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, Muay Thai, wrestling, etc. Right? And after a while, it's just like the same stuff. And your competitors are all reading the same things. So how do you outmaneuver them? How do you get that advantage, right? And so I forget who I learned this from, but I call it knowledge advantage. And so basically, knowledge advantage is something that you have that your competitors don't have yet, or don't have access to it, or in the they're not as refined as you are, right? And so knowledge advantage will give you a really big lead over your competitors, especially when you lack resources. Okay, and so it's very important to read and try to take everything your competitors doing, like study what they're studying. At the same time, go beyond that. And that involves a lot of work, and also finding relationship between things outside your field and bringing it in. So a good example is, for example, you want to be the best pastry chef in the world, right? And so you read all these baking books and stuff like that, all these recipe books on how to cook and the best cookies, pies, whatever, right? But if you really want to be the best pastry chef in the world, you should read a book on chemistry. Maybe middle school or high school chemistry, or maybe go take a chemistry class. And then from there, tie the information back into baking or cooking. So, for example, in chemistry, you'll learn about base and acid. You know what I mean? Like vinegar is, I think, is a base. You know what I mean? You'll learn about sodium and how things like egg is a protein, right? And there's different ways to cook protein. And so by understanding this on a molecular, chemical level and reading recipe books, you will have a knowledge advantage. You will understand baking at a much lower level. Jordan Peterson talks about the ability to see things at a high resolution and low resolution. And so a lot of times we're stuck at a certain resolution, but we really have to be able to expand and compress. And the only way to do that is to go outside of field expertise. Now, at the same time, you don't want to go too far, so you really have to dig and dig and dig and put in the legwork. And eventually something will gravitate. You'll gravitate to something, or something will just click. But it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. But once you find it, you own it. You know what I mean? So let's just go back to being a pastry chef again. You can read every single pastry books there is. But what if you read a couple of books on chemistry? Then you try to find cookbooks or recipe books that also describe the chemical process, or the process that's involved, like from a scientific point of view. Or if there isn't, you write a book about it, or you start making notes about it. Then you really understand baking at that most core, which is you are basically a chemist, but you're making things that are edible, rather than, things that people can wear, or whatever, right? Anyways, guys, I hope you like this video, and I hope to shoot at least one video a day, 5 videos a week. And please follow me on Patreon. Please follow me on YouTube. Please follow me on Instagram. Please follow me on Facebook. The links are in the description box. Thank you very much.